Hello, everyone. Good morning or afternoon or evening. For a very special happy July 4th to all of our American friends from this Canadian. So as you can see, it's a perfect day for a Saturday roundup for WikiTree. And we've got a nice full studio, which is always fun. So along with my regular co-hosts, Denise and Vicky, we are joined with my member of the week, Liz. Glad to have you here. David's going to talk about Behind the Branches, and Patty is filling in as a special co-host, and he's going to be doing some question of the week. We're just going to mix everything up because I'm going to do Behind the Branches, and I have passed off the profiles of the week to the American in the in the panel. So it's going to be fantastic. So let's say hi to everyone who's here. So welcome everyone who's here live. Great to see you live. And those who are watching afterwards, thank you for watching us on demand. So hope you like that. Tia is here. I'm so independent on Independence Day that I'm the first one here. That is just wonderful. That's independent. And then Eileen was number 2. And who will be number 3? That's Murray, it looks like.
Yeah, Murray. Yes.
Excellent. That is great. Great. Happy Independence Day to all of you. And Fiordalisi followed shortly thereafter. And then we have Eileen Robbins scrolling down, lots of talk amongst themselves. John Tyner jumped in there. Hi to John. Judy Stutz, good morning to you. And then we have Rick Cleland, Doris Lanier, Patricia Jackson from Kentucky. Ravonda says hello from a very hot Virginia. And then Susie Carda from Minnesota. Aowen, our forest elf, is here. Hello, Aowen. Great to see you here joining us. And who else is saying hi in the chat? Karen Stewart, good morning to you, Karen. I must have missed some people because that seems like 4 names. Yoke is here. Hello, Yoke. How are you doing? And Marion Pierre Saint-Louis, who was our WikiTree Challenge guest for June, and we just finished her WikiTree reveal Thursday night. So if you haven't seen that, you might want to see that. It was a great reveal. Lots of excellent work by our researchers that last month, June. And Catherine Lake Hogan, who was captain for the month of June, was there, and she revealed a bunch of stuff along with others. And good to see Catherine in the chat as well. Jen Crazy is here from St. Louis, hot St. Louis. Excellent. And the Black Pearls of Genealogy is here. And there, I think Lisa Gervais, a fellow Canadian, is here. Okay, so hello to everyone, and hello to everyone who comes in after we start rolling. I'm glad to have you here joining us on this festive occasion. Such a festive week because we celebrated in Canada our Canada Day, of course, on July 1st, which was Wednesday, which was a very steamy day. Steamy and stormy. We had we lost power twice that day, so that was fun. And then today, of course, we're celebrating July 4th. So let's turn it over and talk to our special guest, our member of the week, and Vicky, take it away to introduce Liz.
Yes. Well, thank you and welcome and congrats, Liz. Liz Lumens is our member of the week. Yay!
Thanks.
And I'm so excited to have you here today because we're going to talk about a lot of things. I mean, you are a WikiTreeer since 9 years ago. You became a WikiTreeer, but you are currently using it.
I don't math.
Yeah. It's 9 years.
Okay.
But you're very active just this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've done genealogy my whole life, but I think there was a lot less on WikiTree in 2017, or I was just unaware of it. And I was certainly unaware of all the community that was to be had. So I kind of did the research on the section of the family I was interested in that time and then occasionally came back, but until I think it was like August. Actually, it's been about a year exactly that I've been on here more often.
Yes. And you fell in love and you're very passionate with the U.S. Black Heritage Project. That's what got you hooked last year.
Yeah, I was. So part of my family is, I've researched most branches of my family back to at least the early 1800s, and that's kind of where I stopped for the Irish branches because I can't find them. But the German branches I've been able to trace back to like right about 1700. And I was going through a lot of German script at the time, which if any of you have dealt with that, is my eyes were getting a little sore and I needed a break. And that month, the USBH project had a call out for help, I think, with the Pennsylvania census, 1880 spreadsheet, their census spreadsheet. And I did that because I was like, well, this is a way to give back. I care about social justice, and my family is stupidly white. And maybe I can help this way. And I started doing that and immediately almost found a USCT soldier who it turned out he had been enslaved and then joined up with the Union Army. And meanwhile, his former owners were running armaments and personnel across the border from the north into the south to get them recruits from their plantation where he'd been enslaved. And I was just fascinated and went down that deep rabbit hole. And I think I asked Emma whether it was okay if I kept working on his profile, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have any expertise in this area. Again, from like Germanic Irish to the core, have only been working on that. But, they were obviously not exactly upset to have someone working on one of the profiles. And I was like, well, I should just join the team then. And that was the beginning of the end, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Your ancestors are not easy to research. I mean, we all know about Irish ancestors and the lack of registers because of fires. And also the German side, right? Working with Prussian, Russian, Lithuanian records.
I only just found that was where they were from recently. My family's had always believed they were strictly German, but the name Stunek, Zdunek, I was like, I don't think so. I kept researching and ended up in Poland at first. We knew that they'd been in Berlin at the time my great-great-grandmother was getting married. But then I only just recently found some indications in their naturalization papers that it looks like they're from what is now Lithuania, and at the time was it was in legal flux in terms of who was the authority in the area at the time, like Germany or whatever Germany was at the time. Honestly, I need to brush up on all that because I find it confusing still. Or Prussia or Russia or...
Wow. Yeah, crazy. Well, it's now I understand why you got hooked with other projects and the American Revolution project also. So it was something easier maybe to research for you?
Well, maybe it would have been if I hadn't somehow ended up specializing in pre-1800 enslaved soldiers, which are not easy to research. Because, why not?
But it is the best of two worlds, right?
Yes.
You kind of join.
I tend to bounce around when I can't handle the German script anymore or staring at passenger records. I jump over to looking through probate records in Western New York or...
Wow. Amazing. And what is most amazing is the talk we had about our ancestors, Irish ancestors, because probably your Irish ancestors in Tipperary, County Tipperary, met my ancestors because, I mean, they had to know each other, I'm sure. And other branch of your ancestors lived where our co-host Patty lives. So, wow, tell us a little bit about that. What are their names?
Well, there's a lot. It turns out I just got DNA testing done around a little before Christmas, and I'm 69% Irish. And all branches of my family have been in the country since at least 1830, and my dad's side, some of them back to 1717. So I was kind of surprised that it was so Irish, because we'd always thought German a lot as well. But the names, so there's a lot of names. There's the Houlihan's, and some of the Houlihan's married Clancy's, and that's some of the earliest ones. There's Curran, there's Ellis, which that one I suspect, I don't know, that one may have some English in it, but there's not a lot of English in my blood. Don't know. That was my grandfather, who was estranged from his family, so I only have recently researched him. There's there's a lot of them. There's a lot of Irish people back. Oh, Connors, who in Syracuse, they were hard to trace because right when they were in Syracuse, around the late 1800s, their name was in flux. And literally every Connors in the city of Syracuse over the course of like 15 years shifted their names to O'Connor.
Okay.
And I don't know why that is. I am sure there's a reason that someone could tell me, but I haven't figured it out yet.
The same thing happened to me.
In Ireland.
What?
That happened to my O'Connor ancestors in Ireland, and to every second O'Connor in Ireland, I switched between the two versions.
So, like, why?
Because they started out with an Irish language name, which would have been more like O'Crahor, and with the government translating it into English and the priest translating it into Latin. So you don't get any standardized spelling. No computer telling you spell your name the same way today that you spelled it yesterday.
It's just funny because they were all Connors by the time they were in Syracuse, and there were plenty of them. And then over 15 years, for no discernible reason, they added an O to the beginning.
A lot of Irish people dropped the O, which is part of the Irish language surname. And then when the Gaelic revival came along in the late 1800s, they put it back again. So the Irish language version always had the O. The English language version, it came and went.
Thank you. That's really good to know. I was so curious, but had no idea.
Yeah. And any comments about the location, Patty? Because you live
I live in Ballina, County Tipperary, which is exactly where the Clancy's and Houlihan's live. So you might have seen I was meddling around in your profiles last night trying to find out the house.
Oh, now I see it.
So I figured out this morning I walk almost every day right past where your ancestor James Clancy was living back in the 1850s.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Oh, yeah. My husband is very Dutch, whoever said that. So Dutch. They moved to Wisconsin pretty much right when they came over from the Netherlands.
And I have a friend who's writing a book on the Brohan family who lived here in Ballina and just north of Ballina. And I say you have a great-great-great-grandmother Brohan. So he wants to talk to you as well.
Wow.
That's very cool.
So funny. Whoever who would hear this wouldn't believe the conversations we genealogists have. Hi, I know your great-great-great-grandmother. It's so funny.
And I have a Clancy great-grandmother myself, but from the other end of County Clare. So it's a common name. Not like Brohan, which is very rare.
Yeah, that one, I haven't even gotten into her yet, any further than you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Well, Lisa, your connection with social justice made you leave a tip and for others to be inspired. What could you say about that? About joining connecting these two words like genealogy and social justice?
Well, for me, I feel woefully lacking in terms of what I have done in the world. For a few reasons, I am not able to get out to protests or do any active work too much outside of home. And so when I started working on the USBH project, it was a relief, honestly, especially after the last like 10 years or so, to be able to just to be able to do something that might help someone who in this country is, you know, just marginalized or downtrodden by, you know, my ancestors probably, although, you know, I haven't found specifics on that yet. But I grew up in a very white community, and I can't repeat some of the stuff from the police log that I saw growing up as a kid, when a Black person had the unfortunate chance to walk into town. And that always, I mean, since I realized it was going on, made me mad, but I haven't felt like I could do anything. And so at least now I can research these soldiers. It also feels unjust that so many white soldiers have been so well researched and so many descendants are able to connect back if they want to be in the DAR and everything. I mean, I have no interest in DAR myself, but I feel like there should be equally people researching these Black soldiers. And I know there's people researching the Indigenous soldiers as well.
And it's very much appreciated, Liz. I'll speak on behalf of the project and the teams. Very much appreciated.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. I enjoy doing it. And I just kind of fell into it because I started I can't do the census stuff too much. Like because I'm too much of a rabbit hole person and I don't ever get much done on the census. But I am from Marblehead, Massachusetts, which people with 1776 knowledge may know of. That was Glover's regiment. If you all know the history, they were the ones that rode Washington across the Delaware. And like the home where I grew up, literally across the street is the famous painting, The Spirit of 76, which is in like every kid's textbook. And the Glover's regiment has encampments throughout the year at the fort that's out on the point. So it's a big deal. But there's like, until recently, very little recognition of Black people in the community. One, because there were hardly any in recent eras. And two, because it's very far back. But three, not a lot of people in prior generations wanted to talk about the enslaved people that these patriot heroes had. But thankfully, the Marblehead Historical Society, or the Marblehead Museum, which is a different thing, they have recently begun really trying to unearth that history of the Black people in Marblehead and doing a lot of research, particularly into the Jeremiah Lee Mansion and that family's enslaved people. But anyways, sorry, I got way off track. I got into it because I was just like, well, I'll start with my hometown and start researching the people there. And if you're going to research Black people in Marblehead, you end up with a lot of Revolutionary War soldiers. You just can't help it. And then I was also doing my Mohawk Valley ancestors in New York and going through the, the German Flats church records. I kept seeing these pages where it was like so-and-so, you know, enslaved or Negro servant of so-and-so. And I was like, dang it. And so I haven't met a rabbit hole I didn't want to go down. So I had to research all those people because it didn't feel right to leave them buried in a church register with nothing beyond that. Just didn't feel good.
That's great. That's great. And it's so generous of you. If you watch this after on YouTube, you'll see a lot of comments from people who are thanking and admiring your work. So thank you. And they're saying thanks for all you do.
It's still not enough. Honestly, I'm going to get emotional because it's so little compared to what needs to be done. And we need so much help on the USBH project. There's, oh gosh, who is it, Denise, who's going, is it you or someone else who's going through the probate books in like somewhere in Georgia and trying to find every single mention of a slave in there? And
yeah, that's not me. No,
that's not you.
That's not me.
But like
probably someone in the
thousands of
chat
pages.
knows.
Mhm.
Wow, amazing.
Every
Well,
little bit helps.
that's it.
though.
Yeah, yeah, and it's great. So, well, I can see why you're our member of the week, Liz. Thank you for all that you do. Congrats again, and we are honored to have you today.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anyone has some question? Any other comments about her Irish ancestry? Maybe. Patty, no.
Do you want me to show the street view of where her ancestors lived?
I'd love to see
Sure.
that.
Oh,
That would be great.
wow. Yes, of course.
Try and
That would be
share.
awesome.
Oh, there's so many buttons to click to share. Now I am sharing my screen and street
Switching.
view. Where's
Whoa.
it on?
I should have waited till you switched to the right screen. Now we're seeing. Look,
Inception.
he's got as many
There we
tabs
go.
as me. Yay.
Hey.
Way more. So this is the village of Ballina, and that string of houses is where the Clancy lived in the 1850s. That's where the little yellow man is, and down there, where my cursor is where I live. Hopefully
That is so cool.
Your neighbors with long dead
Our
people.
neighbors. Hopefully I can find the map. Not that one.
But that's a cool one.
There is a map of that street in the 1850s, and James Clancy lived in number 64, and his garden was number
Wow.
66 at the back. So that's all on the Ask About Ireland website.
Wow.
That's great.
So I walk along that way on my way to the shop from the shops almost every day.
What are the odds?
What are the odds?
That's great. Wow.
That's very, very cool.
I knew I had to ask if you had something else. Well, Patty's amazing. Well,
Mhm.
that's all I can say. Wow.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Awesome.
Great. Wow.
Great.
Yeah,
Excellent.
it was a gift. Extra, some bonus. How do you say?
Excellent.
Like a extra bonus.
Bonus.
Yeah.
Bonus.
Yeah.
Well, thanks,
Well-
Liz. And congratulations again on being our member of the week.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Okay.
Yeah. And stay with
So-
us if you can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And just tell me if you can hear me sipping my coffee, because that would be awkward.
Well, you can always mute yourself.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So I'd like to introduce our second guest, David Randall, who really needs no introduction because he's been a quasi-regular guest lately, which is fantastic. And we love having you back, David.
Today I have my U.S. president's hat on.
Yes. The only question is when we see David, which hat is he going to be wearing today? Which one of the many
Exactly.
projects
Exactly.
we'll find out more details about. And because today you're celebrating the 250th anniversary of the signing of independence, we thought we'd ask David to talk about the America 250 U.S. President's Challenge and how that's going and what it's all about. And do you need any help?
Well, we've been very busy this year at U.S. Presidents, and we actually have two challenges going on, or one's about to start today. So I'll talk about both. We started on the first of the year. We decided we were going to work on improving all 45 presidents' profiles. We've had 47 presidents, but 2 of them duplicated. So
Right.
they count twice. So there's 45 individuals. And at the time, Norman and I took over the project in January. So we were kind of getting our feet wet with it. And at the time, we managed every profile, every ancestor to infinity, and every descendant to infinity. So the first thing we did was trim the project because we had thousands of profiles that we managed.
Wow.
So we now manage the presidents and their wives, the vice presidents, and the president's children, parents, and spouses. So basically the people that you see on their profile page, those are the ones we manage. Everything else we dropped. That still left us with about 450 profiles that we manage. And our goal was to get them all in order by 4th of July. We did not make it to 45. we made it to 5.
Oh,
The reason is because our team has really put a lot of work into these 5 profiles. We've worked on some others as well, but we decided at a certain point during the year, we're not going to go for 45. We're going to put everything into our founding fathers, which is for the presidents. That's our first 5 presidents. It's Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, and Monroe. Monroe was the last president to serve in the Revolution. So after Monroe, we're talking post-Revolutionary War era. And we got all 5 of them done. And we also got their parents and their children and we didn't do siblings. We had to cut that out as well. But we got the presidents, their wives, their parents, and their children all completed for those 5. It's about 40 profiles. And our first challenge that we started on July 1st, we're calling the simplest challenge ever on WikiTree. All we're asking people to do is go and read the profiles. A lot of us have, in the United States, obviously we learn about the presidents and history in school, but for a lot of us, school was a long time ago. So this is these profiles, there's one more thing I want to preface this with, but first off, these profiles are going to give you a really great primer in who each of these individuals was, who their family was, not only in terms of the outward political stuff, but also the behind the scenes, what was going on at home. And that's pretty amazing stories. And it's amazing to me how much what was going on at home is not much different than what's going on at my home or has gone on in my home. These private lives of these presidents were just like anybody else's. Tragedies, marriages, just conflicts between people, etc. But all the stuff that goes on in a regular family, while these men were out fighting the revolution, writing the Constitution, writing the Declaration of Independence, at home they were dealing with children that were acting up, daughters that wanted to marry somebody they didn't approve of, all this kind of stuff. Fascinating history. One thing I wanted to say, though, is that this project was not conducted only by the U.S. President's projects. A vast majority of the work on the presidential products were done by the Notables Golden Branch team. And we also had work from the 1776 team, which has recently rebranded itself as the American Revolution team, a project. But all 3 Notables, American Revolution, and U.S. Presidents contributed to these profiles. So I want to be clear that it wasn't just U.S. presidents, and also I am listed as the manager on each of these projects, or profiles, but I am not the one that completed all of these. So I want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. So again, that's our first challenge. Each day we posted a link to a particular president and each of their family members. And I don't know if we can pull up the U.S. president's project page.
sure. Yeah. Did you want to share your screen or you want me to?
It doesn't matter if I'm able to share my screen.
You should be able to.
Can't.
You should have a little present button at the bottom there.
Okay, let's see.
Looks like a little monitor with a plus sign.
Mm-hmm.
While we're waiting, we should also say, isn't it correct that Jefferson and Adams both died on the same day, 200 years ago today?
200 years ago today. Both died on the same day. And
Yes.
I believe it was Adams that said, well, on his deathbed, this may be myth, but it's a story that thank goodness Jefferson still lives, not knowing that Jefferson had just died a couple hours.
He died first.
Also, James Madison died on a different year, but also died on the 4th of July.
Oh, wow.
So 3 of the 5
I didn't know all 3
died on the 4th of July. Okay, let's see.
What-
I'm
Yeah.
wearing
One of the vice
While
presidents was
David,
from Marblehead.
oh, I'm sorry. While David is looking for his screen to pull it up, there was a question: will you be adding the ones that were slave owners? And the USBH project
Mhm.
team has also been assisting with this project. So
Yes.
yes, the
Um,
answer is yes. Yeah.
so let me stay focused here real quick.
There we go.
Do you see it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So let me
Fascination
go to
with
the
horses
top.
and dogs, I saw was
So-
highlighted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is actually not the page I wanted to be, but I can go back. Here we are. Okay. Well, we're at George Washington. Okay,
Yeah,
let
George
me answer that question though on USBH. Yes, we are leaving it to the USBH team to do the detail work in regards to slavery. All of the presidential profiles discuss slavery and what was going on in the different plantations owned by the presidents. It's a real contradiction that has to be addressed with the presidents who fought for freedom, but not for everybody. And we have links to the USBHS pages that address that. We also have, with Thomas Jefferson, there's the whole Hemings family, Sally Hemings and her children. We did not work on those profiles because, again, we're leaving those up to USBH to manage because they've got that expertise. We want to make sure they're done properly. But yes, slavery is addressed in all of the relevant profiles. So this is George Washington's profile. Oh, and we also got good news today. As of this morning, George Washington's profile, I'm going to scroll up to the top. He is now gold standard.
Oh, yay.
Excellent.
So we posted it on G2G. We got a lot of good feedback from people. It's always amazing how you can spend hours and hours reviewing a profile and then somebody else looks at it and say, well, you missed this, you missed that. It's like,
Yeah.
how did I do that? But yeah, it's always good to get those additional eyes. So we give credit to those individuals unrelated to the project who contributed as well. So if you look through, one thing that we decided, as the head of notables, one of the things we tell people is to go light on the career and heavy on the genealogy. We want to hear about their childhood. We want to hear about their parents and siblings and marriages and all that stuff. And we've got all of that in our presidential profiles. But we felt that the U.S. presidents are a bit of a unique situation as far as American history goes. In the United States, we often define our eras by president. So you have the Reagan era or the Kennedy years. And that's kind of how we view our history. It's how we kind of compartmentalize it.
Uh-huh.
So when you read through these profiles, you're going to find they're very long compared to most WikiTree profiles, and they're going to contain a lot more information than just genealogy. So all the genealogy is there, all the family stories are there, but we couldn't leave out writing the Declaration of Independence or leading the American forces during the Revolution or whatever it happened to be. So all of that's there. And one of the benefits we hope once we get through all 45 presidents is that somebody can read through these profiles one by one. And there is a succession link here, so you can just click on to the next president. That you can go through this and learn about American history. And if you have ancestors who were living in a particular time and you're not sure what was going on in the world, or at least in the country at that point, you can read the presidential biography and get a good reference point for some of the hot topics of the time. Okay. So we've got. I'm just going to scroll and show you just how long it is. We put the signature up and a quote from each of them at the top. We have early life here is his family, French and Indian War, his marriage and family. So it talks all about his children. Now, let me talk a little bit about that with George Washington as an example of the fascinating stories. He did not have children. He and Martha did not have children. But Martha had been married previously and had 2 children from her prior marriage, who George Washington adopted as his own. Maybe not a legal adoption. There's no paperwork on it, but he raised these children as his own. Jack and Patsy. And his daughter, sad story, but this is right in the middle of the revolution and era. He was home one day. The family was home on a quiet afternoon. She got up to go to her room and collapsed with an epileptic seizure. He came to her side, knelt beside her, and she basically died in his arms. Very tragic story. She'd had medical issues throughout her life. But this is this was going on while he's trying to lead the country. This is what's going on the home front. You don't hear about that. It just was very, very surprising to me to learn that was what he was dealing with. And then he had a son, Jack, his stepson, and typical father-son conflicts going on there. I had a quote here. That's what I had pulled up previously. I'm going to go over to the next page here, and so I can read it directly. But he was, sorry about the scrolling. It says here, Washington considered his son a promising boy, but he was concerned about his fascination with dogs, horses, and guns, along with dress and equipage. Now, I didn't know what equipage was, so I had to look it up. But basically, it's all the finer things in life. Fancy jewelry, horses and carriages, all the things you would associate with wealth and fanciness. And
luxury.
So, yeah, luxury. So this is, he's a poor student. He's not doing well at school. He's just fascinated with guns and horses, and I'm assuming dogs, meaning dog racing or dog racing at the time, maybe dog fighting. I don't know. And just living the life of luxury without getting a job, without doing anything.
I would think dog hunting or hunting with dogs.
Or hunting with dogs. That's probably what it was. Yeah. And he finally got his son to come. The war was going on. They went to Yorktown. Washington was at Yorktown, and he finally approved his son to come join him on the battlefield. Martha had already been on the battlefield, but Jack hadn't been out yet. So Jack went. Well, Jack got to camp. The camp was full of who knows what kinds of diseases and germs, etc. Immediately got sick and died.
Wow.
So Washington lost both of his children during this time.
Yeah.
Wow.
This I say these tragedies that are going on at home that we're not totally unaware of as we're learning the story of this, this brave general that's out there fighting the battles for us. This is what he's dealing with at home. And that stuff is just fascinating to me, because that had to play a role in what was going on the bigger picture. And with every one of the presidents that we've done, we found the same stuff. John Adams had two sons that died of alcoholism before their father died. Thomas Jefferson didn't have sons, but James Madison had a son who was also trouble. And in fact, James Madison died. Dolly Madison lived to old age, but basically filed for bankruptcy because her son had drained her of all of her money. So these people were dealing with some troubled kids who we hear about this today. You've got rich parents, rich and powerful parents. Why should I get a job? I can just live the life of luxury and go out there and do my thing. And it tends to end pretty poorly for them.
Wow.
So this is what you'll learn if you just follow our first challenge is just go in and read the profiles, learn a little bit about these people. And then also it does talk about the bigger picture of what was going on with the revolution. To scroll down a little bit further, you will see, I want to give you the idea. Again, this was not done by me. This was done by our team, but I want you to see how many sources we have here.
Wow.
We've got 47 inline sources. We have some C also here. And we also have a recommended reading list. So if you want to actually read a book, these are some of the more credible biographies of
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's challenge number 1.
Oh, okay.
Challenge number 2 starts today. And this is a little different as well. We were trying to think of something that we could do a little bit competitive. Now there's no prizes at the end. There's no point keeping. It's just kind of an honor code. We ask you to keep track. But we are asking people to go into each of the 45 presidents and add one profile to their family tree. Now, that sounds fairly simple. And we would like it to be within the CC7.
Okay.
We want you to boost our CC7 by 1 profile. And I'm pulling up the project page here. On our project page, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see a table that has all the presidents listed.
Okay.
Don't worry about. Oh, are you seeing it?
We're not seeing the project page.
No.
I wonder
We're
why.
seeing the Google search.
Yeah.
Did it open a new tab when you clicked on the link?
Did it? Is that what happened? Let me go back to the share screen. If I can find it. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing the share screen now.
In the meantime, there's a category also on WikiTree for African American soldiers in the American Revolution, if you're also interested in Black soldiers as well as the founders while we're waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just not finding the button anymore. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
You mean the sharing button?
Oh, here it is. Okay, they moved it.
You have to
They
stop
moved
sharing.
again.
No. Present. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to close that.
Yeah, there we go.
And then I'm going to
Reshare the
share.
Okay.
Okay, this should do it. Yeah.
There we go. Got it.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem.
It's okay. Understandable.
I'm used to Zoom and not StreamYard, so it's
It's a little different.
The buttons are different.
Okay, so if we scroll down here,
Mm-hmm.
so here's our presidents.
Wow.
And this is a worksheet that we use. Most of the membership doesn't really need to worry about it, but we're counting how many parents, siblings, children, and other that we manage, so that we've kind of got a grasp on what we're working with. But all the way to the far right is our CC7s. And I want you to look at those numbers.
Those are crazy big.
Yeah. So adding one person to George Washington's CC7, adding one person isn't going to be the problem. The problem is going to be finding a person that isn't already on.
Exactly.
So there's going to be some work involved there. Now, if we scroll down, this is kind of an interesting phenomenon that the more recent you get, the lower the numbers become. You see around here, they drop into the single thousand. And by the time we get down to the most recent, we're looking at still big numbers, but not nearly as big. But that's going to be part of the challenge, is finding a person who is not already connected. And the value in this, it doesn't seem like what difference does it make to add one person to the tree? But every time you add a person to the tree, that gives another family one more opportunity to connect. And I can't tell you the number of times that I add a notable to the tree and their parent or their grandparent is already there, and somebody got one step away from adding it and didn't go any further. Mm-hmm. So our hope is that if enough people add one person to each of these trees, that's going to open up new doors. And when you add one person, you're not just adding one person, you're adding their entire tree. So that one person does make a difference. So that's our challenge that starts today. It goes for 1 month. And the winner is whoever connects the most out of 45 presidents. And we say everyone wins kudos. Mm-hmm. The top winner wins double kudos.
Double kudos. 2 thumbs up.
So that's our 2 thumbs. So, so nothing. There's no mug or anything involved, but just something different to do.
Excellent.
We have a question from Anne. David, what is others?
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are the profiles that we manage. This is, as I said, we had thousands. We dropped it down. On occasion, there are other individuals that we do want to manage. For example, some of the presidents did not have a wife, or had a wife who was sick and couldn't perform the functions of First Lady, and they had a niece act in that role, or they had a daughter-in-law act in that role. So they may not be part of a standard household that we manage, but they were family members who had a critical enough role. Maybe they were raised by their aunt and uncle because they were orphaned, those kinds of things. So we have a handful of people that are there. There's also a few that adopted, if either adopted or brought in under legal guardianship. Children, I'm forgetting who it was. One of the presidents raised some children of a neighbor that passed away. Another one raised nieces and nephews. So that's what the other category is for. So we have parents, siblings, children, spouses, and then anybody else that we're going to manage those other. Not too many of them, but there's a few.
Great. Excellent. Fantastic. Well, that's one question I was going to ask is what could a Canadian do to help out? But with the CC7, surely there are Canadians in their CC7, so I can see.
And Canada and the Canadian, what would we call them, the British Canadian colonies and the American colonies, were not so distinct at the time. And there was, in fact, the Canadian colonies had been offered the opportunity to join in the American Revolution and succeed as part of it, and they, for whatever reason, chose a different path. But at one point, they were all just colonies.
Right.
So there's a lot of overlap when you get up into, Vermont and New Hampshire and those areas.
Yeah, exactly. Super.
Also, a lot of loyalists fled up there
And
during and after the revolution.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Black enslaved people who, I think, after Howe's invitation to basically rebel and leave, those that were left fled, but had done something to expose themselves, fled up to Canada.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, David. That's great.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, as always.
No problem. So I am going to turn it over to our guest host, Patty. If Patty's ready to take this on. And we've asked him to handle the questions of the week. So Patty's
The question of the week.
The question of the week, yes. And there he goes.
There you go. Can you see my screen?
We can. Thanks, Patty.
As we've been saying, 250 years ago today, since the American Declaration of Independence was signed. So I've been teaching myself a lot of American history in between researching Liz's Irish ancestors for the last few hours. So the question was, do you have ancestors who were part of the American Revolution in any way? Patriots, loyalists, in other words, on either side of the war, soldiers, sailors, militia members, suppliers, etc. So I guess we should show off the Patriot Ancestor Finder, which is a new app, which looks through various stickers and categories on ancestry profiles. And I tried my own name here, and I have no American Patriot ancestors, not surprisingly. I tried Greg's ID. He's Canadian, he has none. So then I remembered my friend Bev, who comes to Ireland every year and keeps talking to me about joining the Daughters of the American Revolution. So I put in her name, and I found she has one ancestor, Gerald Phillips, who has a nice profile on WikiTree as well. So a lot of people answering the question of the week use that new app to try and find their ancestors. It may not work for you because it goes through WikiTree Plus, and you have to make sure that your IP address is whitelisted. If you get an error 429, you'll find the answer there.
So, Patty, can I add one thing to that real quick? Because we get a lot of concerns about this. People don't understand that it cannot go through a living person. So if your parents are living and you put your name in, it's not going to give you anything. You need to go to the next generation and search. But a lot of people think it's broken because it gives an error message. So, for example, my mother is deceased, my father's living, so it will give me my mother's ancestors, but it won't give me my father's.
Gotcha.
If I want my father's, I can put his in as a living person. I can put it in and get his ancestors from that. But it can't read through a living profile.
And that applies to a lot of things on WikiTree Plus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the best answer is Kevin Ireland's. So let's start with that. Mm-hmm. He says, I have ancestors who fought on both sides during the war. And that was a recurring theme. And I think of wars that are going on today, and probably in a couple of generations' time, the descendants of one side will be marrying the descendants of the other side. Mm-hmm. But the nice thing about WikiTree is it tells us we're all one big tree, even if our ancestors fought with each other and killed each other. Mm-hmm. So Kevin lists his loyalist and his patriot ancestors, the loyalists on the British side, the patriots on the independent side, and has quite a few of them. I'm not seeing Chris Ferriolo in the chat today, but he says he has so many ancestors he had to put them into a space page before he forgot. About a dozen or so soldiers of the American Revolution, and a few Canadian citizens of Quebec who rendered assistance. With lists to about a dozen of them. I've been learning about the sons of the American Revolution and the daughters of the American Revolution. I'm not sure why there need to be two such organizations in the first place when they were set up, arising out of the 100th anniversary celebrations. Men and women, I guess, didn't mix as much as they do nowadays. And a lot of the profiles that we'll see in the profiles of the week, and a lot of the profiles linked here have links either to Sons of the American Revolution webpage or a Daughters of the American Revolution webpage, or both web pages for the Patriot. Or some, Chris points out, are not yet on Daughters of the American Revolution, but are on WikiTree. And Alexis Nelson always comes up with a good photograph, which Betsy likes to show every week. Unfortunately, there aren't that many photographs of those who fought 250 years ago, which is the most best thing, a photograph of the church in which her DAR, American Revolutionary War patriot ancestor Andrew Sharp is buried in Pittsburgh, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
The Presbyterian Church in Pittsburgh.
Nice.
Awesome.
The next one I picked out is John Bean, because he has people on both sides as well. 12 qualifiers for the Daughters of the American Revolution, plus 3 loyalist lines so far. And he says it's important to remember how divisive the revolution, like any war, was in small towns where families were divided, much like the Civil War a century ago, and other wars in other parts of the world. And then before I realized that David was going to be here with us, I said I'd have to show off his ancestry. Using the Patriot Ancestor Finder and the DAR website, not the SAR website. Is one better than the other, I wonder?
I haven't tried the SAR, so I couldn't tell you if they're comparable or not.
20 Patriot ancestors you have, ranging in age from 15 to 59 when they enlisted.
I have one 14 when he enlisted, but that's highly unusual.
Wow.
It always baffles me that today in America you have to be 21 to drink.
Yeah.
The army at a much
That's
younger
right.
age. It's still sending young people out to war when they're really too young.
Well, to be fair, in the Mohawk Valley, you didn't have much choice. They were constantly being overrun.
A lot of it depends on where you were located.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in many wars falsified their age to get into the war underage because young people.
Yeah, I have a great
war
uncle
might be
who,
great fun.
landed at Normandy at 16. His sister's name was Pat, and he used her social security records.
Yeah, that happened all the time. So, David, you say you realize how little time you've spent researching your Revolutionary War era history. At least you're lucky, unlike those of us in other parts of the world, that you have records for that period.
Yeah. But if you look at that list, I don't know anything about most of these people on the list. I've done a lot of, my immigrant ancestors and my early colonial, but for whatever reason, this Revolutionary War period, I've never really spent a lot of time on. So I need to do that.
Interesting.
And when you get back to 1776, we all have an awful lot of ancestors to divide our time.
You do. You have a lot of. Because I think I calculated that I had about 200, 250, whatever the number is, ancestors living in that era.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because just the mathematics of it. Now, some of them were not in the United States at the time and that, but
some of them maybe you haven't even identified.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. My question about the sons and daughters of the American Revolution are there a lot of couples like who there's a son who's married to like someone who's a patriot who's in the sons married to a patriot who was in the daughters?
Yeah, you have to be a blood descendant. So if you're a married couple, it would just be by chance that you both happen to have. You can't sign your wife up under your genealogy.
Oh, I see.
Because you have different
sons
ancestors.
and daughters refer to the descendants gender.
Yeah.
Yes.
you have
Not
to
the
be-
patriots gender. I thought all along I was thinking the people who belong to the sons are from male patriots.
No, they're two different organizations.
Mhm.
And I believe the Daughters of the American Revolution, was first, and then they created the Sons of the American Revolution, but they were totally independent. They overlap a lot in what they do. But yeah, if you are in the Sons of the American Revolution and you have a wife, she does not qualify because she's not your direct.
Right.
Now your children would, if you and your wife were both happen to be members, your children would qualify.
Right.
In either, but then it would only be whether they were male or female as to which one they.
Okay. Well, all this time, I was thinking I was in the wrong order.
And you can't just say, let's say I join, I get qualified for the Sons of the American Revolution, and my sister, who has the same ancestors, now wants to join Daughters.
Yeah.
She has to apply totally from scratch. She can't just say, "Well, my brother got in," so it's a separate deal.
Okay.
And I had this notion that
rabbit hole.
I wondered whether the Sons of the American Revolution were those who got their Y DNA from a patriot, and the daughters were those who got their mitochondrial DNA from a patriot.
No, it's been around.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, they've been around since around, I believe, if I could be wrong here, but I believe they've been around since the Civil War era. And so they didn't have DNA back then.
Far back. I think they both, from what I read, arose from the centenary celebrations in 1876.
Okay, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer Rachel's question, which is there, does anyone know how often the Patriot Ancestor Finder refreshes? Because it's based on WikiTree Plus, then it will refresh the data that it's based on will be refreshed once a week, which happens over the weekend and usually is accessible Monday or Tuesday. So you won't see things right away. Now, if it's based on Connection Finder, then there can be somewhere between a 6 and 24-hour turnaround for that type of thing. So I hope that explains.
The last answer I was going to talk about was Daniel House, who again said he had ancestors on both sides of the conflict. Patriots from Massachusetts and Connecticut, and loyalists who fought in the Battle of Bennington. I'm afraid I don't know where Bennington is, but he was killed during the battle in Australia.
I could be wrong though.
Okay.
That is what I have to say about the question of the week, but the same topics will be coming up shortly as the profiles of the week.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Patty. Great. Vicky, did you have some makeovers that you wanted to show us before we get to the profiles?
Thank you for remembering that, because it's the perfect time to mention this.
Well, we get through all of our guests, let them go first, and then...
Yeah, sure. Can you share my screen?
I can once. There we are. Got it.
You're seeing it? Right. Well, we have a new month. So, of course, there's a new challenge. And remember, it's just a suggestion if you want to use this theme, but you can share any profile makeover you want. The theme for this month is, of course, stars, stripes, and patriotism. I don't know if I said that correctly.
You did.
But since we're celebrating the 250 years of the anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, I wanted to make this inclusive, not only for U.S. Citizens. So the challenge is dedicated to patriotism, service, and the American spirit. So you don't have to be American, or you don't have to use an American profile exactly. But you can use profiles of veterans and members of the armed forces of any country, okay? Public servants and community leaders, firefighters, police officers, and first responders, recipients of military or civilian honors, patriots who devoted their lives to serving their country, immigrants who embraced the American dream, and here is the wider aspect of it. People who loved American culture, and you can say whether they love Collector Americana, celebrated the 4th of July just because they wanted to celebrate. People who restored classic American cars, maybe collected Ford Mustangs, or you name it. Or someone devoted to American music or films, sports, food, or tradition. So it's open for everyone. We already have 2 people who signed up. I don't have a profile makeover to show yet, but Major Comms selected a profile to make over, and it's already doing a great job. And of course, we'll have Lin Young doing an amazing profile. I'm sure it will be great. And this is one example. This is Joseph Francis Yarmish. This is still in process, but it has a great job done yet. So it's someone who was a U.S. Army veteran. So it's of course connected to the challenge. And it's already has a great job done. So I can wait for the final result. So there you go. That's the profile makeover. It's just the invitation for this month.
Fantastic. Great theme. Way to adjust it so it can be used globally too. That's nice.
Yes, I tried.
Yeah, excellent. Great. And so I'm just gonna kick back and watch someone else do the profiles of the week. So Denise, thank you so much for taking on the challenge. But I thought it made more sense for an American to talk about all these American profiles. You have to, the other 51 weeks, you have to struggle seeing a Canadian try to wend his way through and learn all about U.S. history.
And I'm gonna say, I truly, after taking on this assignment, I truly appreciate the work that Greg does to do the connection checkers every week. This was interesting because even though I am American, there's a lot that I didn't know about the folks that signed the Declaration of Independence. And one of the reasons for that, I'm sort of torn between the two because yes, I am American, but my descendants are African. My ancestors are African American. And even though this is the 250th anniversary of the United States independence, African Americans were still enslaved at that time. Ironically, The 12 folks that were selected for this connection checkers, all but one, were slave owners. So it's interesting because they signed the Declaration of Independence where all men are created equal. That was one of their main lines there. And they owned slaves, and it took them a while. And I understand it was an economic thing, you know, because a lot of them were owners of plantations. So they needed people to work those plantations, and that's why they were slave owners. As we go through, we're going to find that a lot of these signers were wealthy people, educated people, and prominent people in their communities. So with that, I'm going to try my hand at sharing, and we're going to start with, I don't do this very often here, people, so I usually have Greg doing this for me.
Right.
But I'm going to try to share.
Okay.
I'm going to do this.
Okay. And
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Can you see it? This is Button Gwinnett.
that's who we see. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And Button.
Can you zoom in a bit?
All right. What do you want to see? His face? His name?
There, just to make it a little
That's
more
better.
That's good.
Okay. So with Button, again, he was born in England, ironically. So he started out as an immigrant, but and he wasn't a very successful English person. He tried his hand at several professions. He moved to Savannah, Georgia in 1765, and he opened a store. Well, the store failed. He didn't have much luck with his store. When that venture failed, he bought, on credit, mind you, St. Catherine's Island. So no money exchanged hands, but he was able to get on credit St. Catherine's Island. And of course, to run the land there, he had to have a large number of slaves. And he attempted to become a planter. Again, the term here is attempted, because once again, he was not very successful with that. He was a speaker of the Georgia Provisional Congress, and he was a radical Whig leader. And again, the Whigs was different from the Democrats and the Republicans. That was a totally different party back in the day. And I believe that party is extinct now. Yeah. But, you know, they had their own beliefs of how things should run. His tenure as a politician was also short-lived. As you notice, he was there as a governor of Georgia, the 8th governor from 1777 to 1777. Well, what happened? He was killed in a duel with the rivals. Yeah, you know, more fighting. And that was over the invasion of East Florida. So he
you're going to fight over something.
Exactly. He lost that duel. He was shot and killed. So that
you think about it, if he had not signed his name on that document, how different his historical memory would be.
True. His life might have been different if he had signed.
But he was, you mentioned he's failed at everything he tried. He was governor for a couple of months and got killed in a duel.
Yeah.
Not the most
successful. He succeeded in using a pen.
He signed that document, and now the rest is history.
Yeah. So that, unfortunately.
But may I add one more thing? Just elaborating on that a little bit. This is what we find that's so fascinating with the notables so often is he's famous because he signed that document, but that was a 30-second piece of his life. The whole rest of his life is the story. So often we think we know these people because they're famous for this or that, but so much goes on beyond what they're notable for. Yeah.
Sounds good. And Lachlan McIntosh, another Scot that he was battling, a Scotsman. That's who he was battling over East Florida, and of course was killed with one shot. His shot, Laughlin was also shot, but his was not fatal. So he was also a poor shot, just to mention that for Button. He wasn't very good at many things.
Wow.
Yeah. Next we have.
And his parents named him Button.
Button. Yeah. Well, that was after his mother. That was his mother's maiden name.
Oh, wow.
From what I understand.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wondered about that.
Yeah.
There's a revolutionary general named Goose Shake.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my favorite.
So next, my connection with 20 degrees of separation is William Floyd. I'm going down with how I'm connected to these people on purpose. But William Floyd was a wealthy farmer and a political leader from New York. So he was an East Coaster, and he was a member of the U.S. House of Representatives from New York's first district. It doesn't say that there, but yeah, he was a member of that. And of course, he owned enslaved Africans throughout his life because his family was wealthy. You know, the largest slaveholder in Brookhaven, Suffolk County. So that was his claim to fame. He had the most slaves in that county. And he continued to hold people in bondage until his death in 1821. And even after that, they remained enslaved in New York until it was abolished in 1827. So the state of New York had to abolish slavery in order for his slaves to go free. And of course, I have to mention this because I'm with the U.S. Black Heritage Project. Why would I be a member of that project without mentioning these things? But that was his claim to fame, really. I couldn't really find any other key points about him.
Good.
Yep. All right. Next we have Roger Sherman.
Ooh.
Yeah, Roger Sherman. And of course, he was from Massachusetts. And again, he was another U.S. senator from 1791 to 1793. He is the only one of the 12 today that did not own slaves.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a strong opponent of that. And in fact, he was known for holding anti-slavery views. So I'm surprised he actually made it to senator in the 1790s. We're really surprised, but happy that he did. He was
What state was he from?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And was there slavery in Massachusetts?
Yes, there was.
Well, yeah. They ended at 1790 was the official ending.
Yeah.
And so right through the Revolution.
Yeah, initially there was slavery everywhere.
I was going to say
The North.
For some reason, I thought the most northern of your New England states, it wouldn't have reached up there because there's no plantations.
Oh
in
yeah, it did.
New Hampshire, surely.
Yeah,
You
well,
probably
I mean, some
count
of
it
those
as
states
large
didn't
scale.
exist as such.
Oh, right. Okay.
Denise,
Yes.
could you please zoom in? Because every time you switch, the zoom gets lost. And I wanted to interrupt you just to tell you, because you're not seeing this, that TSS, you're doing an exceptional job on this presentation, Denise.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's sweet.
Thank you. I'm trying to be Greg, but it's hard.
no,
I'm telling
I'm
you.
gonna be fired after this.
It's hard. Now, it's interesting. I just wanted to note that there's 4 DNA connections to this guy. These are WikiTree members that have included their DNA results, and so there's 4 of them here. So maybe they can do some more work on his profile too,
including a direct mail descendant too.
Yeah.
That's very cool. The Y DNA.
Yeah. Yep. So that's really his occupations included shoemaker, surveyor, lawyer, judge, and merchant. So, but again,
Wow.
he's the one and only
Very cool.
of the 12. Now, out of all 56 signers, 44 were slave owners. Just as an FYI, in case you didn't know that, a little piece of history there.
Wow.
Something else I discovered that I didn't know either. This was truly a learning experience. Now, our infamous John Hancock.
Okay. Zoom.
And of course, he's, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I see it just fine.
Just hit Zoom twice. Every time you switch to a new profile, just hit Zoom twice. And then
yeah. So I see it just fine. I don't understand.
Yeah, I know. What's wrong with the rest of you?
You're in front of your screen.
And here John Hancock is known obviously for his handwriting. It was the largest signature on the Declaration of Independence. And so it's remembered. And so that's why, everybody, back in the day, I remember folks used to say, here, put your John Hancock right there.
Exactly.
It was just a common reference.
And apparently he did that deliberately. He wanted his name to be,
stand
he
out.
wanted the English to see that he was adamant about this.
Yeah.
I think he was also the first signer, wasn't he? Didn't he want to set an example from what I remember? But that was.
I think that's true.
Yeah, he was one of the first. Then he wanted to set an example.
Maybe he was just spatially challenged and he couldn't divide the page into 56.
Well, he was also the president of the Congress, so
Yeah,
didn't realize how to make equal shares.
needed some graph paper.
Yes, if you had graph paper, but how boring a document would it be if it been?
Yeah. So you see, he served 2 terms in the Continental Congress as president, and a big, 4th and then 13th. So there must have been a lot going on where he had to come back in and step in again and straighten things out 10 years later.
Mainly just a signature.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, there's that infamous signature. And of course, John too was a slave owner. He so far we've identified 5 individual slaves for him, and this is typically how we list them on the profiles when they're identified, and we make links where we can. So he's got Cato and also Frank are the only 2 that actually have profiles. And so my project team still has some work to do to identify, which is a challenge because, the last names of these, especially these 2 women, could have changed over time. So it's a challenge to find these individuals and actually get them connected. Next, we have Zoom.
And this is my closest at 15 degrees, John Witherspoon.
Okay, and I'm 18 degrees, but yeah, John Witherspoon, and of course he was Scottish born. Again, another immigrant that came to America and became successful. He was actually a Presbyterian minister, and he was the president of the College of New Jersey, which is now known as Princeton. Yeah, so everyone talks about Princeton University. He is the founder of that. Look at that signature. Who can read that? Yeah, really. He was a leading educator of future American statesmen. He was a vocal supporter of independence. And And of course, he also signed the Articles of Confederation, including the Declaration of Independence. So he was adamant about independence. Also, we've got 3 DNA connections for him.
Mm.
And this is sort of his breakdown.
Mhm.
This baptized, is that, I'm assuming that's for birth records.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, when that person was born, they've got the baptismal record there.
Yeah, they don't have the birth record, but you assume it's close to the baptismal date.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's cool.
Birth records came in only in 1855 in Scotland.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. And of course, he was a slave owner, but we've got to get that information added to his profile. Don't know what that is just yet, just that he was.
Mhm.
Now we've got Charles Carroll.
Mhm.
Okay. Again, from Maryland. So all of these Northerners.
Mhm.
And
Maryland, Northerner.
yeah, well, it's north of Ohio.
But he has
Which part of
Irish
Ohio?
ancestry.
Yes.
Well, it's a middle colony. So
Middle.
Yeah.
Denise, can you move that a little to your right? Because we're seeing it cut.
Well, I don't know if I can. You know, I'm only seeing half of it.
There we go. That's perfect.
Good.
Is that better? Okay.
That's perfect. Yeah,
Mhm.
good.
Okay. So Carroll was the wealthiest founding father
Oh.
of them all. Yeah, so he had lots of money.
Mhm.
And he managed to be U.S. Senator from Maryland for a few years, just a few years.
Mhm.
And he was known publicly as first citizen for his influential political writings. He had a long-serving political figure, and he owned a vast plantation worked by hundreds of enslaved people. He participated in the 1776 diplomatic mission to Quebec with Benjamin Franklin and
Mhm.
Samuel Chase, attempting, of course, unsuccessfully, to
Mhm.
gain Canadian support for
Right.
the revolution.
Now there were actually some French Canadians who helped out because they saw anything that rebelled against the British would be something that they would support, since the British had just conquered Quebec City.
common enemy.
Yeah, so the enemy
Yeah.
of my enemy is my friend. So there were some French Canadians who were certainly in favor of that, but English-speaking Canadians maybe not so much. They were more likely to be loyalists.
Yeah.
You know, something that I
Well,
didn't have time to look up on him, but he's always known as Charles Carroll of Carrollton.
Yes.
Never just Charles Carroll. It's always
Yeah.
Charles Carroll of Carrollton.
Of Carrollton. That was his town. Yeah.
It's just fun to say.
Yeah,
and he was the only Christian that signed the
only Catholic.
Declaration
Only
of
Catholic.
Independence. Only Catholic.
The only Catholic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Maryland was the Catholic colony.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Mary
And,
Land, after the
um,
Catholic.
Roger Williams,
I
when he
mentioned-
founded Rhode Island, it was for freedom to all religions,
Right.
which is unique. They're not just Puritans. Freedom for all religions except Catholics.
Except Catholics.
Catholics,
What?
they were not allowed. But
What do we
Catholics
ever do?
founded,
Oh, don't say that. Don't answer that question.
And it goes back
Well,
to the conflict between the Anglican Church and the Catholic Church in England. But
Yeah, there's a little bit of.
Yeah, I wanted to make the connection. You know, Paddy, he has Irish ancestry. His grandfather came to the United States from County Offaly, and he's one of my ancestors. I'm connected to them. I don't know exactly how, but I do have a DNA connection with one of the descendants. But I know we are connected.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things he's also well known for is the B&O Railroad. That's Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. So he was one of the main folks responsible for laying the tracks for the B&O Railroad, which is still well known here in Ohio. I don't know about Baltimore, but you know.
Isn't
My
that one of
aunt
the ones on
practically
Monopoly?
ran
I was going to say, I think it's in Monopoly.
area.
I think it is on Monopoly as well, if I remember correctly.
That's where we learn our history from.
Exactly. Reading Railroad.
Reading.
Oh, Reading. Right?
Yeah, there's the Reading Railroad as well.
It says
Yeah,
Reading in Canada.
Reading.
it's Reading. Yeah,
All
it's
this time
pronounced-
I thought it was Reading.
Yeah,
No.
nice try. It's pronounced Reading.
Is it?
Read and read,
Yes.
so the same.
Like
How
I
old
read
was-
the book last week.
Well, yeah. But
Uh-huh.
I was
Okay.
reading the book last week. I've
Fair
just
enough.
finished reading this book.
Fair enough.
Okay, so Canadians have played Monopoly wrong all this time.
Possibly. So next we have Stephen Hopkins. Stephen was born in Rhode Island, but he actually was self-educated. He's one of the few political leaders that educated himself. He was taught to read by his father, and then he just had a love for books, so he was constantly reading. Unlike many of the other politicians who went to colleges or universities, he was actually self-taught in a lot of what he did. He served multiple terms. It's not showing here, of the governor of Rhode Island. He was a chief justice and a delegate to the Continental Congress. And also, he was a cousin to Benedict Arnold.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you remember the history of Benedict Arnold, he was a traitor during the American Revolution. So that was Stephen Hopkins' cousin. Here's a lot of his accomplishments, a timeline of his accomplishments. And at the signing of the Declaration, he was the second oldest delegate after Benjamin Franklin. So he was one of the older, more mature guys. And obviously, since he was part of the Providence plantation, he had slaves. He was a slave owner. He said when he signed the Declaration of Independence, he said, "My hand trembles, but my heart does not." So that
Nice.
that was his excitement for signing that. He looked like he had quite a few children. And here we've identified 2 slaves. And he must have purchased them from somewhere because they had also the name Brown.
Oh.
One took on Hopkins as a name, but then we haven't found anything for the other guy yet.
Mhm.
Well, or they could have been freed and Brown was the name they took. I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of options.
Yeah.
Come in through his wife,
Yeah,
married.
I mean, my understanding was that they really had no choice in what last name they had, wasn't
Only after freedom.
only
yeah.
right?
After emancipation, some retain the name. If basically, if they liked their slave owner, they retain the name. If they were trying to escape, they changed the name.
Mhm.
Well, and some of the soldiers got the names. I came across a guy yesterday and he just went by his first name, Joseph, for most of his life, but then he became a substitute for someone in the Revolution because he was asked to by his owner. And then he first got he was enrolled as Joseph, and then the last name of his owner, or actually the last name of the guy he substituted for. But then later they found out he'd been waiter to his owner during the Revolution, and that's what his name became.
Yeah,
He never took
I think I
agency
saw
over
that.
his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a link there to Brown University, so that makes me wonder if there is a connection in the family to the Browns.
Yeah, it could be.
or if it's just coincidence.
It could be. Here we have William Paca, Esquire.
Paca.
Yeah.
Interesting last name.
Yeah, he was one of Maryland's most influential revolutionary leaders. Again, Maryland.
Okay, we haven't switched the tab yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did. I just didn't share it.
You didn't share the. Okay,
I
there we
didn't
go.
want you to see it until I got it large enough.
There we go. Excellent. Good work.
It's an unusual name. I'd never heard of him before.
Yeah, it is. And I didn't do a whole lot of research on the name, the surname. Like I said, this was challenging for me. I enjoyed it, but it was challenging trying to get this done in just a couple of days with everything else on my plate. But I think I'm halfway there.
You are.
Paca, of course, was a well-educated lawyer. He was an advocate of colonial rights and governor of Maryland. Let me scroll down. I think, yeah, there we are. Third governor of Maryland. And of course, you know, later a federal judge appointed by George Washington. And of course, he owned a plantation, the Y plantation, W-Y-E. So I'm pronouncing it Y. That may or may not be correct.
Mm-hmm.
It could be we, but yeah, that was in Queen Anne's County. He purchased that around 1760. Yeah, that's, you know, where he married, I guess, Anne Harrison. Nothing special about that.
I mean, hopefully touching special.
Right. You know, with last name Harrison, you just, you know, she might have been related. Might not. But again, he was a lawyer. And there's the Y plantation on Y Island in Queen Anne's County.
Oh, wow. 4 wives.
Yeah. Yeah. And now that's a National Historic Landmark designated. His house and gardens has been designated as a historic landmark. That's really all there is about him. He was a member of the Maryland Assembly, delegate to the First and Second Continental Congress, and he persuaded Maryland's conservative provincial convention to support independence. Served in the Maryland Senate, served on the Council of Safety, and personally funded militia supplies during the war. So he was kind of a wealthy guy.
Mm-hmm. It looks like his direct male ancestor, it goes as far back as Robert Paca, who landed in Maryland in 1651. Apparently born around 1631 in England, but no mention at all about England, like any details about who his parents were. So there's no connection to the old world of Paca and where that came from.
Yeah. Yeah, wasn't a lot on him, really. Mm-hmm. He must have been a kind of quiet guy. Mm-hmm. Wasn't a lot on him. He was busy working.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have, well, I don't want to share that. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
We have Richard Lee. As soon as there we go. Richard Henry Lee. Mm-hmm. And of course, he was a Virginian. Mm-hmm. He's best known as the author of the Lee Resolution. That was a motion that was adopted July 2nd, 1776, declaring that colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states. Mm. So apparently he was a great orator. They loved hearing him talk. influential revolutionary leader and one of Virginia's most prominent statesmen.
And if I remember correctly, he was a cousin of Robert E. Lee's grandfather, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
So it's the same Lee family.
Yeah, the Lee family was one of Virginia's most prominent aristocratic dynasties.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, he was part of a dynasty. President pro tem of the U.S. Senate in 1792. And then he was a member of the U.S. Senate. Well, he was a senator from Virginia prior to his being president pro tem of the Senate. And he was the 12th president of the Continental Congress.
Nice.
Yeah, 4 DNA connections. My name is not among them. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the signer of the Declaration of Independence. He was one of the only pair of brothers to sign the Declaration.
Francis Lightfoot Lee.
Yeah, they kept it in the family.
Nice.
Oh, Lighthorse Lee was one of General Lee's relatives.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
direct. Yeah,
First
there it is.
cousin.
Obviously.
First cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry
First
about that.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. No problem. And first cousin twice removed of Civil War Confederate General Robert E. Lee.
There you go. Yep.
He was the 7th of 11. Yeah. Okay. Married to 2 Anns. That way he could keep it straight.
Right.
I hate that in the records because they never have their maiden name on there. So you're just like,
Right.
yeah.
Now, he did have a hunting accident that blew off 4 fingers off his hand. I remember reading about that. So when he signed the Declaration of Independence, he was wearing a black glove
Mm.
to compensate for the 4 missing fingers.
That wasn't very handy.
Grown.
No, it was not. After the war, Lee served as president of Congress. We talked about that under the Articles of Confederation. And he opposed ratification of the U.S. Constitution because it lacked a Bill of Rights and created what he saw was an overly consolidated government. And here it says he was giving enthusiastic support. So either
For the Bill of Rights.
was wrong. Yeah, for the Bill of Rights.
Mhm.
Either my information was wrong because it said at first he opposed the Bill of Rights.
Well, no, he opposed the Constitution.
Oh, that's right.
Without
Because it didn't have one.
Yeah.
When they added the Bill of Rights and he supported it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Thank you for that. Despite opposition, he served as one of Virginia's first U.S. senators from 1789 to 1792. And of course, he was a slave owner.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we have any mention of that on this profile either. So again, just, we'll get there. It just takes time.
Right.
We've only got so many bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to mention how underdeveloped many of these profiles are. If somebody is interested in U.S. history,
Yeah.
likes to write profiles, there's some good work that needs to be done on these.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here we have Mr. Samuel Chase. Interestingly,
Mm-hmm.
and again from Maryland, he was one of those folks who served in the House of Representatives, but was also impeached. He was the only U.S. Supreme Court justice to ever be impeached.
Wow.
I didn't know we could do that.
I'm not sure we can anymore.
Well, this could be why. Because he's still the only one.
I can't
that
remember
ever
the rules.
was. Yeah, he's the only one that ever was. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And of course, he was a slave owner. His nickname was Old Bacon Face because
Bacon face?
Bacon Face. He tended to flush red whenever he got angry. So, you know, I mean, that must have happened a lot to get a nickname.
Wow.
You know?
We can still impeach. It's basically the same process as for president, though. And you know how often that happens.
Yeah.
At least until recently.
Yeah, it's not an easy process when you got opposing parties.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, there wasn't a lot about this guy other than him turning red a lot whenever he got angry. There's a lot of information detailing his impeachment. And that's really about it. Not a lot about this guy.
Wonder if he was related to Salmon Chase from
I was
Cincinnati.
wondering
around
that
now.
too.
Yeah, good question.
Or the Chase Bank. And Fiordalisa was wondering about.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Because you said they were often rich, powerful men, right?
Yes. I mean, these were all wealthy people. To be slave owners, you had to have land.
Yeah.
And the only one that was identified as unsuccessful with that was, Button.
Button up.
Yeah, the rest of them were pretty successful.
Yeah.
Next we have Benjamin Harrison. And Benjamin, of course, he was a Virginian.
I don't think you switched tabs yet.
Oh. I was so busy making it bigger.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot on Benjamin.
Okay.
He was the 5th governor of Virginia in the 1780s. This is his house, the Harrison House.
Nice.
Well, what happened to it? Oh, that's small.
Tiny.
Dollhouse, yeah.
A dollhouse. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's not a job that Alexa did. Somebody else.
No.
Yeah, we still can't see much on that house.
There we go. There's a little bit. There we go.
Me trying to get down any further, but yeah, there not much to see. It just looks like a standard colonial house.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very nice standard colonial house.
Yeah,
I grew up with colonial houses.
Well,
That's not standard.
We're just trying to.
Didn't have 3 floors? What?
The floors weren't so. It's not really the issue.
Well, if that's him, he was a cutie.
Too pointy.
Yeah, too pointy of a nose.
Chin.
Oh.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Signer of the Declaration of Independence. Everybody gets credit for that. Member of the Virginia House of Burgess, the Continental Congress, the Federal Constitution Convention, thrice governor of Virginia.
Mm.
Not once, not twice, but thrice.
Right. Love it.
Three
Nice.
Loved that job so much he kept doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Father and great-grandfather.
Yeah. Well, and he was the father of President William Henry Harrison.
Yeah.
And William Henry Harrison was the grandfather of Benjamin Harrison, the president. So he therefore was the great-grandfather. So he had a son and a great-grandson that both became president.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very cool. And of course, this was donated by the Daughters of the American Colonists.
Oh.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's a whole separate organization.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no idle pledge. 9 signers died of wounds during the Revolutionary War. 5 were captured or imprisoned. Wives of children were killed, jailed, mistreated, or left penniless. 12 signers' houses were burned to the ground. 17 lost everything they owned. No signer defected their honor like their nation. Remained intact. Those signers of the Declaration of Independence. Who knew?
Tough.
We have a category with all 56 signers, so you
Yes.
can make connections and see, are you closer to one of the other signers than the 12 that were picked for this week?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. Okay, let me get back to the profile.
Now, Anne Fiordalisi has already yelled at me in all caps to remind us that at 12 noon, there's a catch up for the WikiTree challenge that's going on this week. So,
Okay, I've only got one more, Ann. I'm almost there. I've only got one more. You know, we'll get there.
we'll get there.
We'll get there. So, here's the one. Of course, Mr. Thomas Jefferson.
He signed?
Yes. Yes. And
I'm just being stupid.
he's the one that I'm closest connected to.
9 degrees. That's
9.
Yeah, that's my husband's side of the family. It's because of being married that I am 9 degrees. His aunt is a direct descendant of Sally Hemings.
really.
Well,
Yeah.
Wow.
So it took years to prove that he and Sally had 6 children, but it was finally proven through DNA. And yeah, my husband's aunt is a direct descendant of that.
Denise, has U.S. Black Heritage done much work on the Hemings profiles? Or-
I don't know that we set out to do a whole lot of work specifically on the Hemings. I'll have to look into that further.
Be an interesting project for someone to take on.
Yeah, it would be. I would dive into it more, but again, I've got other lines on my husband's side of the family that I'm still trying to unravel. And trying to get some of his cousins that would be direct descendants of Sally to participate is a challenge. Because they are aware, they just, they don't care. Not like we care.
Yeah.
In this community, they really don't care. So, and of course, he was the 3rd president of the United States, the 2nd vice president of the United States. He was wealthy of his own right, and had a lot of property, and of course slaves. But then when he married Martha, Martha Wells Skelton, of course, they had more. Now, what I thought was interesting, in whoever created this profile, they listed Sally Hemings under marriage and family rather than slaves. So we're probably going to have to correct that, because to my knowledge, he never officially married Sally. It wasn't.
Well, but it says and family, right?
Well, yes, but technically she.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying there shouldn't be, but I get where, I think probably someone thought it falls under and family.
Yeah, because it took forever for the Monticello community to even accept and recognize the fact. Yeah, right. It took a long time. So, and I think there's still conversations. There's probably a lot of comments around that. But look at, who can read that?
Wow.
You should have been a doctor.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I've seen much worse handwriting.
Yeah. I was going to say, it could be, that could be William Heffernan for all I care.
Exactly.
That's going to look like a W there. Yeah.
Exactly.
I see an M.
I just barely make out the J-E.
Yeah, that's right.
And the S-O-N I got. But,
Aim Selenzensen.
Thomas Jensen.
Yeah. Yeah, yep. But yeah, he was a very popular guy, very popular guy. Um, Again, he inherited approximately 175 slaves when he married Martha. Oh, I'm sorry. He inherited those from his father and father-in-law. And he owned an estimated 600 slaves over his lifetime.
Wow.
So he was a big slave owner and not very interested in releasing them over time. But he's the one that coined the phrase. What was it? All men are created equal. Yeah, he's the one that coined that phrase for the Declaration of Independence. So it's very interesting.
Wow.
He just believed in the biological inferiority of Black people and never publicly advocated for emancipation, which is unfortunate. He freed only a handful of enslaved people in his will. The majority were sold to pay his debts after his death. So, and of course, as mentioned earlier, he died on July 4th, 1826, which was the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. There's the info about Martha. I mean, huge profile. I mean, if anyone, if you need something to put you to sleep at night, here's one. There's a lot going on here. I mean, I applaud the person who did all this work.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really do. Now we get to the later years.
He's allowed to retire.
Yeah. I really applaud whoever did all this work. And then there's research notes, of course.
That's good.
Oh, there's DNA. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So, and obviously we've got lots of sources too, and recommended reading, as was pointed out by David.
It's a nice idea. Great idea.
Yeah. So,
because there's only so much about these, somebody like Thomas Jefferson, you can only put, as long as it is, you can only put so much in a profile that,
exactly.
if you're really interested, you need to pull out a full-size biography.
Yeah. So that concludes the connection checkers.
Excellent.
Work.
Great work, Denise. Fantastic.
And I just say we do have, and I don't have the link, but we do have a Declaration of Independence signers webpage that lists all of them, so you can link to their biography. It's on G2G, but I bet if you just Google WikiTree Declaration of Independence signers, you'll get to that
find
page.
Great.
And it's probably in the category if you start with any of the featured profiles and go to the category page.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Ann.
Yeah. Good job
Thank
there, Denise. Fantastic. Excellent. So
we need to run. We need
to wrap up. Okay. So earlier this week we started on Monday with the Tech Talk Zoom chat, which always happens. And during that, I just wanted to bring to attention. So we have a Tech Talk Zoom free space page, and then there's a G2G post which gives you the link to the YouTube and the breakdown. One of the things that Murray was able to demonstrate was that Ian has removed the drafts, saving the drafts from the WikiTree browser extension because now it's part of the core. But one of the things about that is that because it's no longer in the WikiTree browser extension, if you save draft, that the new saving of the drafts only take effect as of the changeover. So, you might have there might be a little bit of a blip there if you don't see the drafts that you thought you might have had. And the other thing is that we wanted to give a shout out to Ian because there was a couple features that we thought, well, wouldn't it be nice if you could sort by bio mother, bio father in certain fields and whatnot. And there was another thing about having listing by age, and Ian's already added that feature just as we predicted. So he's amazing. And yes, we have 5 minutes before the Zoom Saturday get together for people who are working on the WikiTree Challenge, because the July WikiTree Challenge is already underway with Sandra Varney. So
Yep.
that is happening right now, and will be happening very shortly. But what else is going to be happening? We will be happening. Wait a second. Where I'm on the wrong page. Where do I go? Social media posts.
Oh.
Nope. Is that it? Here we are.
Yes.
There you go.
Oof. I clicked on the. I have to change my bookmark. It's going.
Yeah,
so
me
here
too.
we are. Sandra Varney's WikiTree Challenge is happening right now. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., I believe it is, there's going to be a tutorial on using the WikiTree Sorcerer extension.
Yes.
And Celia, I believe, is leading that.
Yes.
So please check that out if you're available.
You're actually, I don't know if it's in this list, but you actually have 2 opportunities. Tomorrow is Celia, and the second one will be done by Rob Pavey. That's later on in the week.
Later on.
There it is.
Friday.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that's fantastic. So you can use that during the WikiTree Challenge, but you can also use it for the Connect-a-thon, which will be coming up in 2 weeks from now.
Exactly.
So check that out. New Zealand is the place of the week, the place to be. Peters is the one named study. When was that? Southland is one place study. And New Zealand project will be featured on Thursday. We'll have a Q&A via Zoom on Thursday night at 8, probably. Is that right, Denise?
I think it's 8 o'clock. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Rob Pavey is doing. Well, that's us. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Rob's on Friday.
Yeah.
And then we're back next Saturday.
Yeah.
And there'll be a collaboration hour, of course, at 5 p.m. Eastern time today.
Yes.
And every Saturday.
Yes.
Except probably you won't be. We probably won't be doing that during the Connect-a-thon weekend, though.
Mm-hmm. And I shared the link to the America 250 week with a lot of activities. I wanted to show you that, but we don't have time. So you go there, click on that link, and there's a whole lot of activities.
There's so much going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here in the USA. There's a lot of fireworks, every city, every town, every community.
Every house in Ohio.
Every house in Ohio.
Yes.
Wow. Except ours.
And and we still need pictures, photographs of states for the capsule. Remember Sandy showed us last week? The hometown capsule.
A shout out should go to Sandy because she did a lot of the coordinating of the America 250.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Thank you,
So
Sandy,
if you're still hearing, we still need pictures from Arkansas, Delaware, Kansas, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, North Dakota, U.S. Virgin Island, Washington, and Wisconsin. All those states.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone who've hung around and watched us. But thank you especially for all of my wonderful co-hosts and guests who have joined us today. Thanks, Patty and Dave, Liz, Lee, for joining us, and of course Denise and Vicky for all of your work. So, have a great day. Happy 4th of July today, and whole long weekend for those who are celebrating it. And we will see you next week. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.